Newport Beach, California. The mere mention of the city brings images of beauty, beaches, sailboats, and extreme wealth. Its politics have the opposite image. Often considered boring, when you live there, what can you possibly complain about? Well, things are beginning to change in Paradise. For the first time in its 100-plus year history, Newport Beach's politics are becoming interesting. Enter Fred Ameri. Amari is running for a seat on the City Council against two other opponents, both of whom are attorneys. A 19-year Newport Beach resident, a retired business executive, and former city planning commissioner, Amari came to this country as a young man and has lived in Newport Beach for 19 years. His story is rather unique, with struggles many Americans only read about in the newspapers. Here he talks frankly about his battles, the racism he's experienced, and the fight that broke out this week at the KOCI radio station that began as an argument, escalated into a shouting match, and almost ended the broadcast and his political career. We covered that event and also decided to contact him for an interview. He agreed and now wants to set the record straight. Hi, Fred.
Hi, Sandy. How are you?
Good. Where are we? Just tell me.
Oh, look at this beautiful park in front of our Newport Beach Civic Center. As Mr. Piotr likes to call it, the Taj Mahal.
Right.
It's done. It's finished. Nice building and all that.
It's huge.
We got to get beyond that stuff and really think about the future. But this is an absolutely gorgeous facility.
Right.
And the library.
I know, of course, it's a great connection.
It's beautiful.
So I wanted to ask you specifically about what happened at KOCI, at Tom Johnson's Sunday Brunch thing. So you're a very emotional, passionate man, and I think that you've showed this emotion several times before.
Absolutely.
But something happened there that there's some discussion about it. Not much, but some discussion. So I know you want to set the record straight.
Absolutely.
So
yes. Well, before I go into the details of it, one thing that all my life I've treasured more than anything else has been my ethics, my integrity, and my honesty. And especially at my age, where you got 3 years, 5 years, 10 years left. If somebody offends me, that kind of puts that knife on my nerve about my ethics or honesty. Honestly, it's like killing my kid.
Wow.
I mean, it's that important to me. I'm an honest guy. I've never lied. In my business of 44 years, I've always been honest. I've never had a lawsuit, never had any complaints, nothing. I don't have a single spot, at least in my 55 years of living in Orange County.
Wow.
I moved here as a teenager.
I want to ask you specifically about what happened. I think what happened was that you were having a discussion, which I actually thought was a great discussion.
Yeah.
And then something happened, I don't know, and then you accused Phil Greer,
and he accused
of stealing
me.
Of stealing or defacing signs.
Lord is my witness that over 50 of my campaign signs, yard signs, have been stolen. And by that, I research. Who is doing this? Is it somebody from Willow?
Do you have any reports of who's done it?
Well, I don't have any report, but I have deducted who it is, and it's Phil Greer.
Oh.
Okay.
What?
What? I will explain.
No.
I will explain. Let me finish.
That's absolute garbage.
Let me finish because you either yourself
both
or
of you guys take
Fred, I've got witnesses that have filed a police report that you have taken my signs.
I have filed
Prove it.
2 police reports.
Prove it.
With pictures.
Okay,
You have any witnesses, Fred?
Hey, Phil.
No,
Fred,
that's...
I want to take a deep breath right here. We are going to take a quick break here. We're going to gather ourselves, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to have a conversation. And we'll be back with KOCI Stu News Sunday in just a moment.
So, but how do you know that it's Phil Greer?
Okay.
Which is a fair question.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. First of all, what happened that day, I wanted to make the record straight. I just didn't want to talk niceties and all of that. And I was upset that morning because I'd just come back from replacing my sign again for the 11th time, where it was gone. Right. Put it there in the morning and come back the next day. Mine is gone. Phil Greer is still there. The Phil Greer sign that has been there for the last 2 months hasn't been even touched.
But it could
Could
not
be anybody.
Yeah.
Could be anybody. I didn't say it was you. I didn't say that. I said I've deducted the fact that whether he's doing it, his relatives are doing it, or somebody that hates me is doing it. I didn't say you're doing it. I said
Did I
you
hear
or
you
some of your operatives.
Right. I'm sorry. Did I hear you say on that video that you had 10 witnesses? Or did I misunderstand?
Maybe not 10, but probably about 6 witnesses. One of them, I'll give you an example. A lady that's a very close friend of my wife, we're going to do a walk in that area. They said, well, we know your sign is going to be gone already. 6 times, 7 times been gone. We're going to take 2 and replace it. They went there about 10 o'clock in the morning. They put the 2, it was gone. They put 2 in right next to Phil Greer's. They said they came back from walking and lunch and all that at 5 o'clock. Both of mine were gone. So how do you deduct? You figure either it's, I'm not saying it's him. I'm not making the allegation that it's him.
I think you did, though, at that.
Well, maybe out of emotion I did, and if I did, I'm sorry. I mean, as simple as that.
Do you think that you owe him an apology, or are you going to give an apology?
Absolutely. If he wants an apology, I will apologize. If I said you, I said either yourself or your operatives or somebody is doing this on your behalf. You know, I continue. I just didn't say you stole it.
So he got upset.
He got upset. What? You've been stole. Up to then, I was kind of trying to control myself and state the facts as I'd seen them.
Yeah.
And up to the point that she said, I had nothing to do with it. You've been stealing my signs, and somebody on my behalf has filed a complaint with the police. I'd already filed 2 reports. One 8 weeks ago, 2 months ago, with the police. And then after all of these, about a week or 10 days ago, I went and filed another one by showing them the picture of my signs that have been torn and pictures that have been dismantled and mutilated. I'd even went and bought some of these plastic things. I had at least 10 of them wrapped around poles and things like that, and they were torn off the poles.
I ran for office too, and I know it was the things that happened to signs are not. It's amazing.
You know the story. But my whole intention was really to run a clean campaign.
But you can understand. But you accused him of being unethical, and
that is unfortunate. Is the truth. Somebody that has been almost disbarred twice as an attorney, somebody that was reprimanded twice. Once, I believe, in 1999.
That's on a record somewhere.
That's on the records, in the papers, in Daily Pilot, Register. I mean, he doesn't deny it. Reprimanded twice for unethical behavior, and he had to take, the first time, I believe in 1999, he had to take 6 months of ethics classes before they would allow him to...
all politicians should take those, don't
Then
you?
2006 or something, again, he did the same. On one of them, he was representing 2 sides of the case, getting money from both. And another one, I guess some money was left that he had to refund to a client or something, and he didn't. I mean, I don't go into the details.
Did he have a point in any of this thing that happened at the radio
Yes.
place? Did he have a point at all? I mean, was there any reason for him to get as upset? As you were very upset.
I was very upset.
Right.
I almost had a heart attack.
Oh, we don't want
I
that.
take blood pressure medication. In the last couple of 3 weeks, I've doubled up on it on my own.
The thing is, I watched it, and you were really upset, and you were accusing him of having either him or he or his operatives stealing the signs or defacing them, and he was denying.
Yes.
He was denying. I couldn't really hear exactly what he said, but to set you off to be as passionate as you were.
One word. Up to the point that I said either him or his operatives or somebody on his behalf is doing this. He said, what? I have deducted who it is, and it's Phil Greer.
Oh.
Okay.
What?
You are stealing my son. That you and steal just boom.
Oh, but he was accusing you, or he was just repeating what you said?
No. He said, somebody has filed a report on my behalf.
On his behalf?
Yeah.
About your stealing his
son.
Oh.
Fred, I've got witnesses that have filed a police report that you have taken my signs.
He said, you've been
I didn't
stealing
hear
my
that.
signs because somebody or him, I guess he didn't dare to do it. I did it myself. I've filed 2 police reports on my own. Why have somebody else do it for you?
Yeah.
Why didn't you do it yourself? If I was stealing your signs, why didn't you file the report yourself?
So that was what set you off?
Yeah,
that he was accusing
because
you.
As I told you before, we had a little discussion.
Yeah, the ethical.
At my age, the only thing I treasure is my ethics,
Right.
honesty, simplicity,
Right.
and a passion for the things that I believe in and I love.
So, Fred, you were just telling me about what happened at KOCI,
Right.
and at what happened at the break.
Yeah.
So I don't know that we stopped there, but the break happened, and then you guys got in a big argument.
Yes.
And you were telling me that there are some things about it that you regret.
Absolutely.
So there are a lot. So on that video, I noticed there's a lot of yelling and yelling and yelling and
but
stuff.
if you notice,
most of it by you, but
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but
if you
were.
notice, he said, "What? You have been
Right.
stealing my signs."
Right.
And we have.
Well, let's get to the part that you know that you would. I know
Let
you
me
said you
tell
don't
you.
regret the content. I think you said you.
Let me tell you, it's people are different. Things that I treasure, I defend. But unfortunately, I am so committed to certain things, like my honesty, my integrity, all these decades of living, I've gotten good results from that. But unfortunately, and I'm telling you very clearly, after that, I started yelling, he started yelling, and, my blood pressure went up,
Right.
and I was, really, truly upset. And I was just telling you before that I feel sorry about that. I'm even willing to apologize to Phil
Sure.
Greer, not for the content of what I said, because I still believe what I said. But if you take the tone down 1,000 times
Yeah.
and talk like, Phil, 11 times my signs were gone. Who is doing it? How come yours isn't? That's what I was saying. But the way I was saying it, 11 times my signs been gone.
Yeah.
I'm saying the same thing. I'm not saying that, no, I lied that my signs were 11 times next to his sign.
I think you said too that you kind of regret some of the words you used when you
The
were
word,
yelling.
I didn't use any foul language, really, I didn't, except for
Yeah.
I said
No, we don't need to
S
say it.
word.
We don't need to say it.
No, I said the S word. This is a bunch of
Yeah.
BS.
Yeah.
That was the only, after they were arguing, I did not say any words that were offensive. They really were.
You're just really upset.
Yeah, I was upset with gestures and hands and,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay.
All right. So anyway, well, maybe you and Phil can get together after the election and have a beer together or something.
Even before the election, you know.
Sure.
I think he knows me a little bit too.
Yeah.
I like him as a person.
Yeah.
My wife says he's a pleasant guy.
Yeah.
But
Different,
being pleasant is different
things,
from
different sides.
who you really are.
So as long as we're talking about signs, I know you have another issue that you're really passionate about, and that was the sign that you feel was defaced. Now, I have never really understood whether the sign, it was your sign and they crossed something out and wrote something on, or this was a sign that was made specifically for that purpose. Can you describe the sign? I think we're going to show it anyway, but can you describe it?
Oh, are you talking about the mutilation of my actual signs or the other?
I'm talking about the one in Farsi.
Oh, okay. Let's give the audience a background on that. I got a call from a friend that, Fred, there's a sign in the corner of Coast Highway and Dover, very prominently written in English, Ameri. Instead of vote for Ameri, it's written right for, which means vote for in Farsi, which is the Persian language.
Right.
I said, are you kidding? Who would do something like that? He said, well, it's very clear. This is a racist ploy as a continuation of the lawsuit. When the lawsuit, my opponents, Will O'Neill and Dave Ellis and that whole cabal went to court saying that I have to use my birth certificate name.
Yeah, your birth certificate read
Farouk. Yes.
And you have been Fred for how many years?
60 years.
Since you have been in the United States?
In the United States.
Okay.
The United States,
So
60 years.
Right.
I was a teenager when I adopted that name.
Right.
Anyway, my whole argument was that there are 8 candidates. Is Will a birth certificate name? Is it William? Wilhel? Wildan? Will what? Jeffrey, Phil, Philip, Bradley, Mike, Michael. They're all going by their nickname. They pick on me to show that I'm a carpetbagger, just came from Iran, as they pronounce it, not Iran, Iran. And he's a part of those terrorist government, and he's not one of us. He's un-American. Watch out for him. He's going to kill you.
So
I came here to this country 55 years ago. As I told you before, I've never told anybody, but since you said, doesn't matter. I was doing business here. We had a depression.
Yeah, let's get this straight.
Anyway.
This isn't about the sign.
Yeah.
So okay, but I want you to tell. I'd
I
like you
didn't
to
touch it. I took a lot of pictures without touching anything, and ironically, Phil Greer's 2 signs or 3 signs crossed like this. On top of a pole, and this, my sign with Ameri, with Farsi written, right next to it. Like,
was there just one
here
sign,
we
Fred?
are, and here is
just one sign,
and we start looking to see if we see some more.
Right.
But this morning I got 3 calls, 2 of them attorneys, that said, Fred, our friends and myself have seen quite a few of that same sign around town. Did you know about that? I said, no, we found that a couple of weeks ago, and there's some people that are doing walking for me. I told them, keep an eye, and we haven't found anything. He said, oh yeah, there are quite a few. I said, well, it sounds like this just wasn't for fun. Somebody's doing it.
But you definitely think it's a racist thing. Do you have any idea who has done this?
Do you want me to name names?
Well, I don't know. I mean...
Well, my opponents, I don't think Phil Greer is doing this. He doesn't have the money, he doesn't have the time. He's an attorney, he's got to make a living. And Will O'Neill has his operatives that do anything they want for him with his approval. And this is a continuation of that lawsuit that they lost miserably in court.
Yeah, let's just put a pin in that. The court decided in your favor, correct?
Absolutely.
So,
Fred,
it's Fred.
Yes, I was appointed by 3 governors to the California Water Quality Control Board, and every letter and certificate from the Senate confirmation, three plaques from the Senate, State Senate, 3 letters and plaques from the governors.
Did you quit that board?
No, I wasn't reappointed after serving 12 years under 3 governors. I wasn't reappointed by Jerry Brown because he wanted me to change parties. I said, over my dead body, I've been a Republican all my life. Maybe some of your Democrat people may not like me saying that, but that's who I am. I'm not going to lie.
Okay.
And I said, Governor, I'm not going to do that. Never do that for anything.
So you're a Republican.
I'm a Republican.
I'm tempted to ask you who you're going to vote for, but I'm not
Even
going to.
though I'm very disappointed with our Orange County Republican Central Committee, that's a different story.
Okay.
If you want to ask me about that too, I will tell you. I'll tell you everything I can. I may get myself in trouble, but an old man like me, what are you going to do to me? Put me in jail, okay.
Well, you've already been in jail, so let's talk about that.
Well, it wasn't really jail, so
okay.
I got to be.
So you just told me the story, and it's really an interesting story, and we don't have a lot of time, but
sure.
If you could just tell us that story. You were a businessman, and you had gone to Iran,
yes.
correct? Okay.
I was working here and all that, and if you remember, you and I are old enough to know that 78, 79, the economy was really in bad shape.
Yeah.
And oil money was gushing out of the Middle East countries, including Iran.
Right.
So I found an opportunity, knowing the language and all, because I hadn't forgotten it, even though I came here as a teenager, to go and do some business there. While I was doing there, I would stay for a month or for a few weeks here and there and try to drum up some business. Before you know it, that unfortunate revolution happened and the mullahs took over the country, and guess what? My wife and my kids were here, my 5-year-old and my 2-year-old were here with my wife. I didn't see them for a year and a half. I was almost under house arrest. They were saying that, what are you doing here? You live in America, you work there, you live there. I said, I'm doing business, you know.
They thought you were...
And they said, well, the allegation was that I was a CIA operative under the guise of a businessman, and that's what it is. Back and forth and back and forth. I don't want to bore you with it.
No, but they didn't... But you weren't tortured or
No, I
like
wasn't
that.
even, to be honest, I wasn't even in prison for a long time. I was taken to the Revolutionary Committee, as they called it. Every morning, not every morning, but once or twice a week, they would come after me.
How scared were you?
With it. You know, after a while I got used to it. The first time I kind of worried myself. What did I say? But after a while I got used to it. The guy comes with a Kalashnikov to my house or my office. We got to go to the Revolutionary Committee. Okay. 3 or 4 hours of interrogation, this and that. Okay. Can you go? You can go home. You're keeping an eye. So
I
anyway,
guess
that took a year and a half for me
horrible.
to get out.
Yeah, that's awful.
Do you call being the hostage, being tortured mentally? Yes, I was tortured, but I was never beaten. They didn't even touch me. They didn't even use bad language. They shouted at me this and that, but it was a scary time.
Yeah. Well, yeah. For a year and a half, you can't see your children or anything. That's horrible.
I remember we had the 52 hostage crisis during the last year of what was his name, Carter, and when President Reagan, my idol, was elected, a few days later they were released.
Right.
So that's that story. I've never really talked about it.
Yeah, well, thanks for sharing it. That's a scary, kind of a scary story. Did you? I have a question. Did you make the deal? Did you ever make a deal?
Well, I left everything I had there, and I got out with 2 suitcases. And that was it. I never had a chance. I've never gone back for the last, I got out in 81. I remember exactly May of 1981, which was about a year and a half
Right.
after the revolution.
Yeah. Did the hostages get out at that same time? was it-
81, I think
Was it when Reagan?
Yeah.
Yeah, when Reagan came in.
Reagan came in January 20th of 81,
Right. Right.
And I came back May of 81.
Right.
Because most what they were after is money and property and things like that.
Yeah.
So luckily I didn't have that much for them to take, but whatever it was, went to them, and I came back at the age of 30, late 30s,
Yeah.
with 2 more suitcases and started all over again.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
So considering the sign issue and considering other things that have happened along the way, have you felt, since you have lived here for quite a while, have you felt any form of racism?
To be honest with you, never, ever.
You don't think what's happened is racist?
This is absolutely racist because it doesn't take a village for you to identify bad people. One bad apple is enough. I would tell you that with 80-some thousand people in Newport Beach, the number of people that are racist wouldn't exceed 100. I believe that 99.99999% of the people are good people.
Thank you so much, Fred. Appreciate it.
Sandy,
That was
you're
good.
always great. Thank you for being fair.
Thank you.